Hello, everyone. I'm trying to podcast during the daylight so the color doesn't get so dark because Yarn Bestie Rhonda says that it's too dark, so I'm doing my best. But my mother-in-law is here and she has the kids outside. She actually took them to the park today to ride bikes, and God bless America for mother-in-laws and for mothers because the grandmothers help me all the time with the kids. Sometimes I just need like 5 minutes to myself. So mother-in-law has them outside and I am very grateful. And I figured, well, let me get a few minutes in because I got a package today. I'm so excited. I told you that I wanted to work on the portage for my next project, but I ordered the yarn and it took a little while to get here. It was from Madeline Tosh, and they said, well, they dye it to order, or however you say that. They dye it when you order it, and it was going to take a little while to get here. So I started a different project that I'll show you in a minute because I didn't have the yarn to start this one. So it came, and I'm so excited. Here is the Madeline Tosh glazed pecan. It doesn't even, the website does it absolutely no justice. Even this color here doesn't do it justice. I don't even think you can see it that well. It looks pretty yellowy here, and it's actually much more ginger than that. Yeah, see, you don't see the color very well. Oh, I feel terrible because it's just awesome, and I wish you could see it. But that is the Madeline Tosh glazed pecan. I am going to use that for my portage sweater or portage. I'm not exactly sure how you say it. I've heard it said different ways. Super, super excited about that. I can't wait, but I had to wait for the yarn to come in, and now that it's here, I tend to be a pretty monogamous knitter, and I don't want to start it yet because I started all about that brioche while I was waiting for that to come. This one is by, oh, I don't know how to say her last name, Lisa Hans, Hannes. And what you do is you take 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn, and one side is one color, one side is the other color, and then the center of them are brioche. So when I went to Pearl Soho, I got an off-white and a black because, again, I just wanted something really wearable in the spring, which is funny because I actually wear color in spring and summer, but that's what I got. I didn't realize it had this halo to it, but it does, and that's okay. I'm not a big mohair person. This isn't mohair, but it definitely has a little bit of a halo to it. I don't know if you can see it there. If you don't know what a halo is, it's like the fuzz that sticks out when you look at it in this direction. You can see that fuzz. I've been knitting on this for about 3 days because it's fingering weight and it's so thin. It definitely takes longer. And it has these little holes along the side, or I think it does. If it doesn't, then mine does. And there it is. I love it. It's super, super soft. It feels really good. And I love it. So I don't know if I'll stop that to start knitting because now, of course, in the process, oh, that was actually Pearl Soho's line weight, in case you wanted to know. And that was heirloom white. And I think it's just, why is everything so blown out today? I think it's just regular black. I was going to start, the portage, but then Rhonda I showed her the Felix pullover, which isn't a new pattern, but it's one that I really like. And when she saw that detail on the for the raglan, the yarn overs, she's like, let's do that together. So she ordered the yarn for us yesterday, and when that comes, she wants me to jump into that. And I don't know if I want to be doing the portage while I'm doing the Felix and the All About That brioche and this that I haven't even finished yet, the Twinkle Town. This is sort of my mindless knitting project. I know I've shown this to you a few times. I've done a little more. I started to put a little progress keeper on there every time I show it to you so you could see how much further I've gotten. So I haven't gotten a ton done on that since last time I showed you, just this much. Like I said, it is definitely mindless knitting, not much to it. I just have to look at the pattern to see when they want me to slip 2 and slip 1. I do like the back still more than I like the front. It's just a little more colorful. It is somewhat stiff. but I think it'll soften up after wash and wear. I haven't shown you the yarn that I've been using. For this, I have the Norol. It's kind of getting a little deformed. And again, it is more colorful than what's showing up, but it has some pretty oranges and pinks and greens and blues in it. And that's the one I got on Amazon. It's actually on Amazon Prime, but it took about 2 weeks to get here. And this is the quince. And that's, I don't know if it's hold it up to something white, maybe you can see it better. That is the peacoat color. And it's really nice. I love quince yarn. So yeah, that's it. Those are all of my whips at the moment. I have that one. I have the All About That Brioche. And now I just don't know what I'm going to do about the sweater. I'd really like to start the Portage, but Rhonda has this thing with when she's not sure how to knit something, she wants me to knit it first. And then I tell her all the obstacles that she may come across while she's knitting it. So we'll see what happens. I'm either going to wait for the Felix pullover yarn to come in and start that one and just keep working on the All About That Brioche, or I'm going to jump into the Portage and just say forget it because I cannot even stand how awesome this yarn is. I'm definitely going to get more. I love it. I've really been having trouble picking out colors lately, so I'm really glad that I went with this one, and I need more of that. This is just going to be a little short segment because I just wanted to show you the yarn that I got really quick, and I'm so excited about it, but I will do a bigger podcast and smush it onto this one. So thanks, and have a great day. Let me explain why I look like this before you think I'm insane. As I told you before, I am a teacher, and we are trying to keep the kids motivated to keep coming back. So myself and my two partners, who are men, have decided to do we do weekly videos for the kids. And this week, I came up with the brilliant idea of dancing through the ages. So in case you couldn't tell, I was the 80s, which sort of blended into the 90s. But that is where I think this is pink, but it looks orange here. My husband went to Walmart and got me a pack of scrunchies. When I told him that I was the 80s, he was going anyway, and he didn't say anything. He came home and said, I have a surprise for you. I was very excited that I had a pack of scrunchies. And these were just some big, fun 80s looking earrings and, of course, the headband. And so I stood in my living room and did 80s dances. I was doing the Cabbage Patch and the Roger Rabbit and the Running Man, and I don't even know the names of some of them. So then I had a Zoom chat, what is it called? Like a Zoom chat happy hour with my coworkers, and this is how I went to happy hour because, we're in quarantine and why not? And then I said, do you guys think I should film my podcast looking this beautiful? And they, of course, said yes. So here I am in full 80s head looking for you here. My head, not the rest of me, but my head is 80s for you. So let's see. What am I watching? We finished Ozark, thank God, because it really gets to me. It just gets to me. It's so depressing to me. It works me up. And my husband keeps looking at me and he says, this isn't real, right? But it is, because these things are really happening in the world. So it gives me anxiety. So I'm very happy to say we made it through all seasons and we're done. And I'm very happy that that's over. Now we started The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, which I'm really loving. My mother's been saying to me for years that I need to watch it, and I'm really happy that we are. It's a good one so far. We're only 2 episodes in, but I really like it. There's a lot of questions I have and things I don't understand, but I'm sure that that's coming. What else have I been watching? Every Sunday, Golden Girls is on TV straight from morning till evening. So I watch that every Sunday. I've seen every episode. I have all the DVD box sets. I'm a huge Golden Girls fan. So I've watched that on Sundays. I've been watching podcasts during the week. And my very favorite movie in the whole world, if we're going to talk about 80s, is Moonstruck. And that runs at our house 3 to 4 times a week, depending on my mood. It's just on the TV. It's my very favorite. So that is what I've been watching. Let's see. Today we got some very, very depressing news, which is one of the reasons why I thought it would be good to come all dressed up to try to cheer myself up. Governor Cuomo said that we are done for the year. So we won't be going back to school. We won't see our students. Of course, this had to happen on a year that we have an absolutely exceptional group of kids. Not that we don't always, but any teacher will tell you kids can get mixed up differently. And some years are really just, it's an easy group of very happy, easygoing kids who are just a pleasure to be around at any point. And then there are other years where you have one or two kids that are very difficult and they dominate all of your time, and it can make the year difficult. And that's just the truth of what it is to be a teacher. We happened to fall on a year that was absolutely phenomenal with the best group of kids ever. And we would have been upset anyway, but we are so upset that this had to happen this year with these students that we absolutely love. So I'm feeling really bad about that. I'm in a text chat with all of my coworkers, and we were all watching it at the same time. And when Cuomo said he was canceling it, we were just devastated. And I'm sure that there's a lot of good reasons. I'm completely torn. I feel like this is something that should have happened, and I feel bad all at the same time. So I called my boys in and I told them, and one of my sons was crying, and the other one was pretty okay with it. So that's where we're at with that. There's a glare right there. Let's move those. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Very upsetting, very depressed. So I said, let me podcast, and that'll put me in a good mood, and I'll wear my 80s gear here podcasting. So yeah, very depressed about that. One of the reasons why I decided to do a podcast was because I want to make more connections with knitters. I don't really have a big knitting community around me, or if I do, I don't really know about them. I'm sure they're there, but I don't know about them. So I thought this would be a nice way to just make more connections with people. That's what I'm hoping for. So I wanted to mention that. I have a finished object right now. It only took me a week to knit, and it was fingering weight yarn. So I'm happy that it only took me a week to knit, because I'm not going to lie, I really, really hate using fingering weight yarn. And for some reason, this line weight seemed a little bit thinner than fingering weight. Maybe it isn't, I'm not really sure, but it seemed a little smaller. This is what I have left. It was I already told you, the Pearl Soho line weight, and that was antique white. And then there was the just regular black, and that's what I had left I just needed one of each skein, and I'll show you what I made. This is the All About That Brioche shawl that I showed you before. Really, really easy pattern. If you're somebody who's scared of brioche, I think that's a nice one to try. It wasn't too bad. Here are the colors. The white kind of goes big. I'm not even sure if I'm on the right side. And then you do the brioche, and then you switch it and do the brioche the opposite way. And then you bring the black in. And I will put that on in a second. But I know I already wore my weekender on the podcast, but I didn't say anything about it. I don't think I explained it. I probably don't need to get up anymore to show you. I mean, if you're a knitter, you know what the weekender is. This isn't anything new to anybody. Oh, I should have said, hold on. I didn't tell you. Oh, this is the girl's name I don't know how to say. Lisa Hannes. That was the All About That Brioche. And of course, in Andrea Mowry. I think this is still in the top at least 100 patterns right now. I go through the Ravelry top patterns, and this is still pretty close to the top. She's just so cute, isn't she? I can't imagine if you're a knitter that you don't know the Weekender, but here it is, just in case you don't know. This is what I used. I used the Brooklyn tweed. I think it's Shelter. I used the same color she did, which I believe is maybe Narwhal. After I knit it, my mother-in-law said she wanted one. I think I did the size 3, and I finished it, and I think I had one skein left. Then my mother-in-law said she wanted one, so I made her one for Christmas, and she's tiny, so I made the smallest one for her, and I still had this much left. It is definitely a farmy yarn. I'm sure if you've worked with Brooklyn tweed, you know that. But it's nice. I was watching a podcast today, and the girl was kind of knocking Brooklyn tweed. She was saying that she thinks it's very delicate and it pulls apart easily. I don't really find that. I think I'm a pretty average knitter. I'm not overly a tight knitter or a loose knitter. and she did feel that she's a tight knitter. I think I've only had it pull. I don't even think I've had it pull once. So mine has not come apart. If it has, it's only been once. So that's not really a problem for me, but I can see how if you're a tight knitter, that would be a problem for you. Um, Not necessarily for me. My mother says that I say a lot, so now all I can think of is trying not to say. So let me put the All About That Brioche on. This was super, super cozy. I do like when fingering weight is lightweight. Like I like how it is lightweight. It makes it not so bulky when the weather is not freezing cold. I mean, this really looks good with this sweater and my earrings and scrunchie. I gotta rock this more often. That's good looking. I am typically a monogamous knitter. I like to stick with one pattern. I start to memorize the pattern somewhat. I know where I'm at. It's easy for me to stick with it. But this pandemic has me just a little bit crazy here. I haven't been such a monogamous knitter. So I have the Twinkle Town that I've already shown you like twice, so I don't need to pull it out again. I've done maybe this much more. And then I did this one while I was waiting for the yarn to come on the Portage. And what else was I doing? Is that it? I think that's it. But I generally only have one pattern that I'm working on at a time. So this is crazy for me that I have more going. I'm glad that I finished this and I started the Portage, which I'll show you in a few minutes. But yes, this pandemic has me wanting to knit absolutely everything. The yarn for the Felix sweater comes tomorrow. Very excited about that, but I'm not going to start it until I'm done with the Portage. I've decided that for the Portage, I'm going to make that my Rhinebeck sweater, and then I'm going to pray and beg God to please let Rhinebeck happen because I just really need my Rhinebeck. So I'm making this and thinking about Rhinebeck, and I'm hoping that it works out. I've been watching old Rhinebeck podcasts just to get myself excited and get myself thinking that it could possibly happen. And I really, really hope that it does. Another thing I've been waiting to knit, I bought the pattern for it and I'm going to get the yarn for it, is the long sleeve anchor sweater. This is another one that's been in the Ravelry top, whatever, top 50 or something. I've seen it within the first few pages. I really love it. Of course, it's not in color for you, but the thing that really sold me is this sweater that she did it in is in a color like a camely color, and it really, really complements that leopard bag that she has on. And I love leopard. I have shoes and purses and many different leopard things. So I definitely would be wearing that with things that are leopard. So this is the anchor sweater. I love the color of it and how that looks with the leopard. I want to do the long sleeve, like I said. So that will be after the Felix sweater. And I'm looking forward to that. Another thing I just wanted to talk about quickly were these advent calendars. It's kind of weird. I feel every year like I want to do the advent calendar. And I watch Sandy by the Lakeside open hers and Christina from Chelsea Yarns. I watch everybody open theirs. And I feel bad. And I think to myself, I would really like to open a little skein of yarn every day. And then reality sort of sets in and I look at the price on the advent calendars and it's insane. And then they're just these little mini skeins. And I'm not really interested in making a blanket with mini skeins. I feel like my blanket days are over now till I have grandchildren someday. And I hate fingering weight yarn, and that's what they all pretty much come in. I just, but they suck you in. You look and it's so cute, and they open their little package of yarn every day, and then I feel bad, and then I want one. But then I look at the price, and I think to myself, I'm not really going to go crazy to use that quickly. So I'm just putting that out there. I don't know why. I'm just putting it in the universe. I feel like I don't know, it's not really something I would use, but in that moment, it's something that's really cute and I would like to open it. How do you guys feel about the advent calendars? I think they're really nice. I just think they're super, super expensive for what you're getting and what you would do with it. I think for that price, you can't even make a sweater or anything. I don't even think you could make maybe a really small cowl you could make with them. I don't know. It's out there. I would like to do an advent calendar this year, but maybe I'll do something different. The boys have Lego ones, and I'm going to make a personalized one for my husband with different things every single day. He'll watch this, so I guess I can't say what I'm going to do. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with the advent calendars. I just wanted to sort of throw it out there. So my mother will tell you that I'm a very fast knitter. She always says that. And I always say to her, I'm not a fast knitter. I just spend my downtime or the time that other people spend watching TV or taking a ride in the car. I spend that time knitting. Anytime I go somewhere after normal work hours, my husband is with me and the kids are with me and he's driving. He always does all of the driving if we're all together. Well, you know that I live in the country, so to go absolutely anywhere, it takes, even for us to get into town, it takes at least 17 minutes. So 17 minutes is a long time, and then it's 17 minutes back. And then at that point, you're over a half hour. That's a chunk of knitting time. And then when we're watching TV together, I knit then, and I get up very, very early, and I knit in the morning after I'm done doing the things I need to do. So I always say to her, I'm not a quick knitter. I just spend the time that I have knitting because that's what I love to do. The reason I'm telling you this is because yesterday I started the Portage cardigan. As I said, it is my Rhinebeck sweater because Rhinebeck is going to happen. It is a pattern by Melissa Schwarzschueri. Just look up Portage cardigan. I am using Madeline Tosh DK in the glazed pecan color. I'm almost done with the first skein. I have this much left of my very first skein. I love that glazed pecan color. I wonder if I hold it up to white, if you can sort of see that color a little better. Let's do this. No, it still doesn't come out as well as I'd like it to, but that's okay. So here it is. Look at how gorgeous that honeycomb stitch is. I wish it would focus a little bit better. So I started knitting that yesterday and I have this much done already. And I wouldn't even say that I've spent an insane amount of time on it, not any more time than I spend on anything else. And I think I did pretty well. I'm going to finish the first skein in 2 days. So what I've been doing is I've been using my stitch markers to help me make sure that I'm at the right spot in the pattern. You only really need the stitch markers at your raglan increases, which are here and here, and then there are 2 more further down. But I've been putting them in groups of 12 because it's that kind of knitting where it's a 1-by-1 cable increase with a right leaning cable and a left leaning cable, and I don't use the cable needle to do it. So it's easier. So then all your stitches go 2-by-2. So it's easier for me if I have them roughly in groups of 12. If I had some more stitch markers that I really liked, I would probably have them in smaller groups, maybe 6. I did just order some Cocoa Knits stitch markers because the ones I have, I lose or I let my mother have some or whatever it is that I do. And suddenly I don't have, I like them to somewhat match. And suddenly I don't have what I want. So I just ordered some more and I'm waiting for those to come. I ordered them yesterday and they already shipped. So I'm looking forward to to those coming. But let's see, I have to do this pattern for 25 repeats and I'm on 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh, I didn't even realize I'm on 23. I'm almost there. And then I think I do a couple more rows and then you split for the sleeves. So I'm almost ready to split for sleeves. That went really, really quick. Other people have complained and said that it's kind of labor intensive. It's not a mindless knit. There's a lot to it, but I don't think so at all. After the first couple rows, I don't even have to look at where I am in the pattern anymore. I just keep marking because it's a 2-row repeat basically. So the second row is just the purl back row. And after I do that, I just put a check mark on a tally on my little post-it. So I think it goes really fast. I'm not really paying that much attention. I did make one mistake that it got too far for me. I didn't notice it, but I don't even think it's that noticeable with this yarn. I don't even know if you can see that. It's just this little spot right here I messed up. But I think in the grand scheme of things, when I'm wearing that and the shawl collar is there and my hair is covering it, I don't even think you can see it normally. So that's where I at on my portage. I'm very, very excited. I love it. It's going super quick. I did not get enough yarn for it, so I just ordered a little bit more. I purposely didn't get enough yarn for it because I wasn't sure how much I was going to need. And I read everybody's notes and I tried to figure it out because a lot of the notes had a lot less skeins than what they had. And I felt like it was a lot of skeins that they had listed. I think I was going to need 9 or 10, and that just doesn't seem right to me. So I ordered them in 2 different batches, and I'm looking forward to that next one coming, the next batch coming, because I love to wind yarn. The beginning of this video is me winding my yarn. I don't know why. I got a Swift, I got the yarn winder, and I love winding the yarn. It's relaxing to me, and I like to do it, and my kids like to sit there and watch it go around, and I just really like to do it. So I told you this took me a week. I am not even 2 full days into this. I'm only telling you this because somebody asked me how long it takes me to knit things, so I'm trying to tell you. Both of my plumpy shawls, I think the first one took 3 weeks and the second one took 2 to 2.5 weeks. It just depends on how much time I can really dedicate. And right now, I'm in front of my computer a lot, and I'm able to sort of knit while I'm in meetings and knit while I'm sitting here waiting for kids to ask questions. So it's easy for me to get a little more done than I normally would. But like I said, the portage pattern is very, very easy to follow. I'm not having any trouble. I was intimidated by it when I first got it, just from comments that other knitters had made, but I'm not finding that at all, and I will be wearing it to Rhinebeck. So that's that. Let's see, anything else I have to say about any of that? No. Today's knit outfit, let me just look and make sure I know what one I'm going to show you. Today's knit outfit will be my Andrea Mowry honey something shawl. Hold on, let me look. So that's Andrea Mowry's winter, oh my goodness, I looked it up and then I forgot. Winter honey shawl that is also made in Brooklyn tweed. I believe I did mine exactly like she did. It's made in Brooklyn tweed shelter. It's a worsted weight. And I did mine in the exact same color that she did, which of course at this moment I have no idea what that is. Hayloft. So let me just make her picture bigger for you. That is hers. I didn't block mine for a really long time, no idea why. And then once I did, it really bloomed and it looked so much nicer and it laid more flatter. And it also has that honeycomb pattern, which I love. I did this pretty early on in my new knitting. I just really got really back into knitting last year. And so I did this, and I thought it was going to be super hard, and it really wasn't that bad. And it actually sort of reminds me of the portage somewhat, and the color does remind me of the portage. But this is my today's knit pattern. And by today's knit pattern, I mean my today's knit outfit, my knit outfit of the day. So that's another way that I style my knitting, and I just wanted to show you. And I just wanted to say thank you again for popping in. This is my 4th podcast, and I'm going to keep going. I just try to sort of wait till I actually have something to show you before I podcast again, and it depends on the time. I did this one in daylight, so hopefully the color is better. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you come back again. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will happily answer. And yeah, come back soon, and have a great week. I'm happy to see you here, and have a great week. Thanks. Bye.